Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO, and yes, a little later this morning than usual. I needed to take care of some work around the Destin house and do a little bit of chores this morning and get back and help Paige this afternoon. So I decided I'd roll with this one on the road. And for you guys that get freaky sometimes, I am on a back road and my eyes are on the road. But I thought this was important, and this got some little bit of spiritual overtones to it, so you might as well know that right up front, just in case you're wondering. This is the name of the game. A couple of sponsors today. Freddie Sheets over at Allen's Cool Ink. Freddie is still open by appointment only, and he is doing some phenomenal work. He ranked up in the top 5 on the Emerald Coast as tattoo artist, and like everyone, his business is taking a hit. No spring breakers, no nothing, but he has done phenomenal work for me personally, for my family. Love it. And I do not want to leave out Kevin Thompson, the MLM attorney. Appreciate all of his support over the years. If you have any type of legal services, not just business, they do family law, they do contract law, they have certain types of litigation, then you need to go to thompsonburton.com. Check it out. But what's love got to do with it? You know, I've been sitting here studying a lot lately on love. And in the Bible, I know a lot of y'all don't read the Bible and you think the Bible's full of don'ts, but it's not. It's full of some do's. And 1 Corinthians 13 is known as the love chapter. And it kind of tells us what to do. And I got to thinking about it because a lot of us are just hanging out at home. And a lot of you have not been at home, anytime lately. I mean, it's like one of you are home, one of you is gone. You're passing in the dark. Garrett White put up a post yesterday on Instagram that was very good. If you guys don't know Garrett White, you can Google him, in charge of the Warriors Network. Just a great organization in and of itself. But it showed a man and a woman. And the simulation was them making love, except that they were both on their cell phones, not paying attention to each other. And it really got me thinking of what life is really like right now. And I know you can tell I'm on a back road now because the camera keeps bouncing up and down. Listen though, 1 Corinthians 13 talks about what love is. It says love is not envious. It's not proud. It's not boastful. Love is patient. Love is kind. And when I started really analyzing that, it made me squirm a little bit in my seat. But I started thinking, we say we love these people. We say we love her. We say we love him. And the reality is that most of us love ourselves more than we love our spouse. Most of us probably aren't even in love with our spouse. And controversial, absolutely, until you start reading 1 Corinthians 13 in context. And if you're a man and you're reading this, it says love is patient, love is kind. How many times do you want things your way? You want it right now. You want it in a specific way. Is that really love? It says love doesn't hold grudges. How many times you get in an argument with your spouse, male or female, and all of a sudden you go into a history lesson and you start coming up with all the times that they've fallen short. It's so easy to remember, well, you didn't do this. Well, you treated me like this. Well, you said that. Instead of actually thinking through all of the good times, all of those fun times that you've had. See, I told you, I just kept reading through this and looking at myself and saying, wow, how can I be better? Not just to my spouse, but to my kids. You know, and here we are, social distancing, hanging out with family, hanging out with your significant other. And if you slow down to think about it, if you're not loving your spouse, why are you telling everybody on Facebook how much you love them? Oh, Troy, I love you. Oh, Tom Chenault, I love you. Oh, Jim Gilhouse. Oh, see how it goes? See, we use the word love just like we do toilet paper. We use it and throw it away like it's no big deal. Except that when you start analyzing this stuff out a little bit, toilet paper's become quite the commodity. If you read some of the memes, it might even replace the dollar here before too long. Looks like it's going up in value. And I think love should start going up in value. Instead of just flippantly telling everybody that you love them, maybe you ought to slow down and really analyze, do I love them or am I using them? What happens when I don't need them? A couple months ago, I was doing work for a guy, just a great guy, really liked him, told him I'd help him out a little bit on some stuff. It wasn't going to take a lot of time. And as soon as he got what he wanted, he disappeared. Now, the whole time that we were, chatting on a regular basis, it's, oh man, I love you. Oh, thanks for all the work you're doing. Oh man, I couldn't do it without you. And then all of a sudden, it's just crickets. See, that's kind of the way we look at people. And if you sit back for a minute, maybe you take some time today and analyze, hey, when I tell my kids I love them, what do I really mean? Do my actions line up with my words? Am I constantly throwing back in their face everything they do wrong? Now, this is pretty personal to me because my dad could do that constantly. Even my mom did that. They always remembered my shortcomings. And I was clear up as an adult before I ever heard my dad truly say, I love you. I never heard him really say, I'm proud of you. And as you study your own life, you start to realize, wow, some of this stuff that the Bible calls a family curse is really, man, this is just the way I was brought up. So all of a sudden I'm doing the same thing my parents did. And when it comes to your spouse, when it comes to your significant other, we have a tendency to grow, stagnant, swampy, almost like a cesspool, because we just expect, and then we don't care what we do. We want people to judge us, and I've said this in the past, we want people to judge us based on our intentions, but then we want to judge them based on their actions. If we remove the word judge, we want people to love us based on our intentions, but we want to love them based on their actions. And that truly isn't unconditional love. If you've stood at the altar and you've said any type of vows, then you should be living those vows today. You should be taking time in this social distancing period. We've got a whole month. Think about this for a second. If you're going to be hanging out with your spouse for 30 days, and for the most part, y'all are just going to be hanging out in the house, in the neighborhood, maybe driving around in the car, but you're not going to be out at a restaurant. Date nights are changing, if you even do date nights. The way you hang out, it's all going to change. Why not take this 30-day period? I really want to love my spouse. I want to love him unconditionally. I want to love her unconditionally. And why don't you take this time to do a reset of yourself? Okay. Instead of me looking at him like he's a prick, instead of me looking at her like she's some little flippant hoe that I ended up with, too bad. And I know I'm being a little raw here, but I want you to think this through. Because just because I'm saying it, don't pretend you don't think it. Because this is what happens. And if you sit there and you think for a second and say, okay, why did I marry him? Why did I marry her? What did I see in her? And maybe it wasn't the perfect marriage coming into it. But over the years, you've stuck it out together. So why not look at that for a second and say, okay, if I'm going to tell them I love them, then I need to act it. If I'm going to say I love you unconditionally, then I need to act it. And to do that, that means you've got to stop holding on to the freaking past. You've got to say, okay, I'm not going to hold it against them. Paige and I, gosh, I don't know, we were probably 5-6 years into our marriage. being married to me back then was really not the easiest thing. Probably being married to me today is not the easiest thing, but I know back then it wasn't. I was a prick. And one of the things the counselor said to us, and he was a screwed up mess himself. I mean, he should have paid us for counseling. But the one thing that he said that we have truly, I believe, done our best at holding on to was not to throw bricks at each other. And it's tough sometimes. But when you have that safety net in there to where you're like, okay, I'm not going to bring up the past. I'm not going to call her a name. I'm not going to here's one that's pretty common. I think I can say this and be safe. You're just like my mom, or you're just like your mother, or you're just like your father, or you're just like my dad and I didn't trust my dad, or you're just like my mom and she was always rejecting me. When we have those thoughts and they come out, that's a brick. So we need to slow down and stop using the word love like we do toilet paper, just flushing it down the drain. We need to be cautious using the word love. And when we use that word love, especially to our spouses, then we need to do it based on our actions. We need to be saying, okay, they're not in a good mood. They're stressed. They just said something that pissed me off. But the reality is, I love them. Don't know what all they're going through. Maybe he just got off the phone with his dad. Maybe he just lost his job. Maybe he doesn't, you start change. You can't change your spouse, but you can change you. And I challenge you to go read the 1 Corinthians 13. Don't read it within the context of a spiritual, Troy's just trying to convert us to Christianity. Not that at all. I want you to read it as if it was a love poem. Because when you do that and you realize, okay, I need to apply this to my life. I need every part of my life. Things can change for you. And in this time of uncertainty, man, love's all we've got. So you're going to shift, you're going to change, you're going to do some stuff, but you got to love. And if you start looking at that, love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious. Love is not boastful. Love is not proud. Love doesn't hold grudges. When all else fails, love wins. And that's what I want you all to be thinking about today. Like I said, each day we're going to do these a little different. Each day, usually I do them in the morning. But today, as I was just sitting here thinking about life, and I'd sent Paige some text and said, hey, I want you to be able to do this. How about if as soon as I'm done running errands, I'm going to come home, take care of the kids. You can run down to the Destin house and swim or write or just chill, whatever. She said, honey, I appreciate that, but we've still got a lot of stuff we need to get done up here at the main house. Okay, that's cool. But I wanted her to know how much it meant to me to have her get away, how much it meant to me just to realize. I realize how stressed she is. I realize how anxious she is. I realize that I'm married to a woman that hates uncertainty whatsoever. She wants it planned out to a T. And it's like, I love that about her. Now, she's as adventurous as they come. Man, if we go on vacation, forget the plan, okay? She's going to have fast passes. But outside of that, it's a playtime. Let's just go and enjoy and have fun. And, if we get to the fast passes at Disney, great. If we don't, so be it. When we're going out west and we're just driving, she doesn't want plans. If we're going down the coast, hey, where are we going to end up? That's all she cares about. And usually that is within an hour of the time we got to be there and we're making the reservations. But outside of that, her personal life, she wants it planned out. And I know right now it's chaotic because we don't know what's going to go on. So I just wanted to show her some extra love today. Let her know I appreciate it. Men, I challenge you. Show your significant other a little bit of love. Show them that you're thinking about them. Show them that you care. Show them that they're worthy is the Ladies, man, don't be throwing that crap back in his face. He can't change it. And if he's half a man, it rips his heart out every time you throw it at him. And it really is building a wall. You're throwing some bricks that are building a wall. Men, you're not out of the gate. You do the same thing. I remember, I'm going to let you go after this. I remember sitting one year. I was up in Lexington, Missouri. Had a biker gang that had gotten in trouble, and I was getting ready to bond them all out. Good guys, they just got in trouble. Different story. I'm sitting at a restaurant, and I heard this guy behind me tell his wife, "Hey, maggot, go get me something to eat. We're at a buffet." And I thought, maybe I didn't hear that right. And then he said it again. "Hey, maggot, did you hear what I said? I said go get me something to eat." And I couldn't take that twice. And turned around and said some choice words that definitely probably weren't of a Christian persuasion. I'm pretty sure he understood them, even though they were pretty raw. And he's looking at me like it's none of my business. But I'm looking at him because I was raised where you don't talk to ladies, no matter who they are, like that. And yet, when I looked at her, it was like no big deal. It was like she'd just grown immune to this. It was just that. And it's like I swore I'd never, ever wanted to do that. Didn't want my daughters to think that they had to be in a relationship where men treated them that way. Never treated Paige that way. But sometimes we use different words that we don't realize. And if you think I'm wrong, well, we wouldn't have a hashtag Me Too movement if we didn't. There's just some idiots out there. So go out there today and show some love to your spouse, show some love to your kids, show love to your significant other. And I'd even challenge you, if this hits home at all, if you go read 1 Corinthians 13 and it hits home at all, I would challenge you to apologize to your spouse and let them know why. Hey, I read this chapter in the Bible and man, I just haven't gotten it right. I mean, this is what true love is about. And this is what unconditional love is about. And I've mucked it up, and I am just a goofball when it comes to this. And I'm going to do my best to do better and find a safe word. That's what Paige and I do. Hey, was that a brick? No, that wasn't a brick. You know, but if it is a brick, then, oh, that came out wrong. Honey, I apologize. I wasn't trying to throw a brick at you or anything. Find something that works for you and your family. Find something that works for you and your spouse and rock it out. Simple as that. Jeff Welch.